I want to sincerely thank everyone who has seen my post and expressed care and concern and reached out to me and actually prayed for my mother, showed concern and care about my mother and me, and prayed for my family. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. It's so good to know that there are people that still have a heart of clay in a very wicked world. So thank you. I was reading a scripture this morning, the daily Bible verse, and it is Galatians 6:1, and it says, bear one another's burdens, and by doing so, we are fulfilling the law of Christ. So, as believers, we are required to bear one another's burdens. That means not just sympathize, but empathize with people. Feel them, feel their pain, understand, care. You know, you'd be surprised of how many people will walk past, a homeless person and not show any type of anything. We can only do what we can do because we all are going through our own battles, but God is going to hold us accountable for who we didn't show any type of empathy for. And so thank you. And I appreciate, just any type of well wishes and concern and care is one of those types of situations where I don't know what to expect. And a lot of times we don't know what to expect, especially with the climate of the world. But I choose to follow the will of God. So I want God's will to be done in this situation. And even the situations that I see that's going on with other people, we can't solve other people's problems, but prayer does change things. So prayer can be more powerful sometimes than someone stepping in and actually doing something. So thank you for praying for me. And I think that prayer works better when we're praying for other people. I try to remember to pray for other people all the time. And I see quicker impact. I see God move faster when I pray for other people, and likewise. So it works better, it seems like, when we're not just praying for ourselves, but praying for others. And that is literally why I do what I do. A lot of the things that I've been through is why I do anything that I do. So when you experience the level of pain and devastation that I have, you can either choose to go the path of darkness, or you go the path of walking in light, life, and love, because you've seen so much darkness. And it's interesting that that is the driving force behind what I do, because I choose to live, I choose life, and I choose life more abundantly. I want to maximize life because I've seen so much around me that I know that there has to be more. And those are the ones who reach higher and reach for greater, is the ones who's experienced the greatest level of pain and suffering. It's either they fall and they allow their circumstance to consume them, or they reach so high and they overachieve because they knew that anything mediocre wasn't enough, because they didn't go through mediocre circumstances. So when you've had the level of trauma that I have, you're either going to be stagnant by it, or you're going to be driven by it. And I'm driven by those things because I don't have a choice. It's really not an option. Just like 50 Cent said, get rich or die trying. When you've experienced certain things, you reach. So some of the most successful people are the ones who's been through the most. It's so interesting that you'll have people that are so envious, so jealous, or try to compete with someone who has walked through so much pain, so much suffering, because they see a moment and they see a glimpse of them shining. They see a glimpse of their success or their victory, but they don't know the sacrifice. They don't know the cost. That's why I could never look at someone and want what they have, because I don't know what it took for them to get there. And so it's so important to not compete with anyone. What God has for you is for you. And the more you focus on your destiny, your purpose, the greater the outcome, the further you get. But the moment you start looking at someone and you say, oh man, why does she get to have that? Why does he get to have, why? When you start having those questions in their mind, or you question God, like, God, why do they get to do this or that? That is such a distraction, and that is such low level thinking, low vibrational thinking, and that delays anything that is for you, because you're distracting yourself from your destiny. It's crazy, because I've had people try to sabotage me, try to, show envy or try to compete with me. And I'm like, you can't compete with me, because I am being driven by pain, by loss, by devastation. And the moment you experience, losing a brother young, in a very devastating way, losing a sister young, losing your father, having circumstances going on with your mother and all these things, and walk through the things that I walked through, then be my guest. Then try to compete with me. But you can't compete with someone who is being motivated by suffering. So if anything, you got to respect that person. You should admire or be inspired by that person. Like, there are people that inspire me. I can't find it within myself to envy them, because especially if I know that they came, if I know that they got what they have through the dirt, through hell, through high water, and they were able to succeed, that deserves to be respected. How dare anyone be jealous of someone who came from dirt and walked through hell? That is so absurd. So when you see someone shining, be inspired, especially if you know their story, their testimony. That's just a testament of what God is able to do, not what the person is able to do. I'm not capable of even smiling if it had not been for God. I'm not even capable of getting up in the morning if it had not been for God. My life is an example of the power of God. You should never look at that person and say, oh, or look at me and say, oh, why does she get to? Don't ever. Because if you're going to ask that question, ask, are you willing to have the level of loss as I have? Are you willing to go through homelessness, divorce, being a single mom, the nights that I've cried? Are you willing to have your heart broken many times? And if you're not, then don't ever try to compete or compare.